Good morning, guys. Hope everyone's had a good weekend. So back again with another daily overview video. Today won't be as long because it's a US holiday today, so there's actually no data coming out on the calendar. Probably markets will be a bit slower today because usually the US markets are what drives stuff. So we'll obviously go through all the pairs, kind of catch up from what happened on Friday, and then look for the week ahead, but probably won't be much to go over today. So let's start on Aussie dollar, US dollar, kind of sticking with the same kind of outlook, a continuation down to this monthly support. If we drop down to the daily, we can see that this trend line and this trend line have now been broken, so we can kind of scrap some of this shorter term analysis, and really we're just going to now wait to see what happens. So we're pushing up towards the 50 EMA, we're pushing up towards this daily level of support resistance. You could argue that there's another level here to be aware of, which is now what we're on. If you look left, you've got here, kind of a bit of a zone really, but I don't particularly like this upper level. But yeah, I mean, generally I think we're still bearish, but we've just had some sort of correction in the short term until we see a continuation to the downside. Remember, we've got this head and shoulders, which now we're actually on the neckline of here, so that's quite important. If I just remind everyone on the head and shoulders, kind of on that level of support that I've just drawn. Like that. So now we're coming testing the neckline again, so I reckon from this level will be a good level, potentially for it to start retracing back down. That's just something to watch out for. Euro dollar, this trend line's still intact, so remember we're just kind of looking for this range at the moment, looking for a push to the monthly support. We've seen a break of this ascending trend line. Let's come and retest the 50 fib here, and now we've got a shorter term descending trend line which we're potentially going to test here for a pullback. So again, we probably won't be moving very much today, so we'll just see how that gets on tomorrow. Euro dollar, ignore that short position. We're in this wedge, and like I said last week, we're looking for a retracement down to the ascending part of the wedge, at the bottom of the wedge here. Now if you look at the daily, we did see on all the CPI and PPI US craziness last week, we did see that kind of drop off, and we're looking for a pullback to test this daily support, and it kind of did, but then it wicked through, it kind of tested that monthly descending trend line. So it's a little bit uncertain with what it's doing. It's kind of in the very short term formed a higher low. So yeah, I think it just needs a little bit of momentum. It's tested this support level, which is obviously strong enough for it to kind of halt that dollar strength. But yeah, we'll just see how that gets on this week. I reckon still we're going to see a push to the downside. If you look back, we've actually got head and shoulders in the past here, at this kind of level ish. Not as good as the one on Aussie dollar, US dollar. But that's important because this is the neckline, which is it shows that that's quite a strong level of support. So if this holds as resistance, then we could see that that bearish move happen sooner rather than later. Looking at the week ahead, we've not actually got any UK data, but we do have FOMC on the 21st. We've got the US initial jobless claims on the 22nd, and that's kind of it. So not loads, but a couple of relatively, FOMC is quite high impact, jobless claims quite high impact. So we might see, if we see some dollar strength, then that's going to usher this along to continue that bearish trend. Dollar CAD kind of retraced back down on that dollar weakness on the back of, so we obviously had the PPI CPI strength, but then we've kind of corrected ourselves here, on the back of some Canadian dollar strength, and now we're actually retesting this ascending trend line again. So this could be quite interesting to see. And then dollar Swissy, again, we're just kind of, we'd seen a break of this monthly support, but then it's come back and tested back above, which would now suggest it was a false breakout. Now what we'd said is that if it comes back down and retests that monthly support as support again, so obviously it broke support, tested as resistance, but then formed a higher low and then broke through the resistance again, pardon me, and we're seeing if it will retest its support, which will confirm a failure of a breakout. So that's just one thing that I'm looking out for here. Dollar yen failed to hit 152, but obviously was pushed along by all that dollar strength. I'm really interested to see what it'll do in this kind of region. And last but not least, we've got gold looking really nice. So recap on the monthly, we've got this monthly resistance, we've seen a break, so I'm looking for a retest of it, which we had here. See, it wicked, so that would have been a perfect kind of long position to take. You know, that's really nice price action. However, I think I'm interested to see whether or not this daily ascending trend line has any value. You know, we saw a break of it. If we draw a fib from the previous high to the most recent low, kind of pulling up again. We've got a 50 fib, we've got a 61.8. Not massive, strong, clear support and resistance at either of those levels. The 61.8 has got a few, you know, it may be a level that has been whipped through a few times, so that might hold some sort of resistance, and that might be a nice short in the shorter term to test back down to the monthly ascending. However, I don't know if it will. I think we might just see a continuation to the upside. But, you know, if you look on a weekly, it looks like it might want to come back down and form a higher low again on this trend line. If you see, we've got the low, higher high, higher low, higher high, technically a higher low if you look at the wick, then another higher high. So if we see a higher low, then that could be even more momentum to see a bullish move. So again, and I keep saying it, we just have to see what happens this week. We've got some US data coming out this week, not loads, but I think maybe the FOMC might be enough to just kind of give us some solid direction for the dollar. But yeah, so today will be a bit slower, but just make sure that you're not getting impatient, not getting greedy. Use proper risk management, don't just jump into stuff. If you need to take a day off, just take a day off. There's no harm in doing that. And then we'll catch up tomorrow morning for another recap.